Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is October 23rd, 2024, and the Spotify Camp Nou is in contention to host a Champions League final. Also, Oscar Gistau is knocking on Hansi Flick's door. And finally, Barcelona are tracking a young Argentinian starlet out of River Plate. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we discuss Barcelona news, but where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting the discussion going. For those of you who'll be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline in case you do want to skip through the discussion and you only want to get through the news segments. Anyways, having said all that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to hit the Goal Kids, Kid Bag, or Fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to hit the bet us. All links are down below in the description. Now let's begin with the news because, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, Barcelona are set to play El Clásico match against Real Madrid on Saturday, and Barcelona have received a boost because, Courtois is officially injured. It looks like he has suffered an injury and he will be out for Saturday's match. So that, of course, is good news for Barcelona. Even though I don't like to celebrate other players' injuries, I don't like to wish any harm to other players. But nonetheless, Courtois is injured, so that, of course, will be a boost for Barcelona, because they won't have their starting goalkeeper, who, honestly, in the most recent seasons has been one of the main reasons for their success, because with his stopping power, he has saved Madrid many, many times. And, he won't be there to save them on Saturday against Barcelona. But that's not it, because Courtois is not the only player that has been declared injured by Real Madrid. Also, Rodrigo has suffered a hamstring injury in the Champions League match against Dortmund. It was initially thought that it was just something, simple, just some discomfort, maybe an overload. But after doing exams on the player, it looks like that the injury is more serious than initially thought. And it looks like Rodrigo will also miss the match. And even though, he hasn't been, let's say, a big goal scorer this season, he's only scored 3 goals so far, he does always come through in big matches. So it's good to know that Rodrigo will also not be available for the match on Saturday against Barcelona. And of course, both Rodrigo and Courtois join 2 very important and key defenders for Real Madrid who will also be missing, which of course are David Alaba and Carvajal, who will be out for the rest of the season. Really, really bad injury for Carvajal, by the way. And of course, even though he's a Madrid player, we wish him a speedy recovery. But those 4 key players will not be available for Ancelotti on Saturday against Barcelona. And the last bit of news in this first segment is that the Spotify Camp Nou is in contention to hold the Women's Champions League final in 2027. Barcelona have submitted their bid to have their new stadium host the Champions League final in 2027. Of course, by then, the stadium will be completed. It's going to reopen in 2025 with only a 60% capacity, but by summer of 2026, it will be completely built, completely done. And by 2027, Barcelona would like to host the Champions League final for the Women's Champions League final. And therefore, Barcelona have submitted their bid, and they're currently amongst the 3 finalists, actually 4 finalists, because it also includes the National Stadium in Warsaw, St. Jacob, and also the National Stadium of Wales. So those are the 4 stadiums who are currently in contention to hold the Champions League final, and where hopefully the Camp Nou will win, because of course it will be a huge introduction to the world to have the Spotify Camp Nou host the Champions League, the Women's Champions League final. It will be kind of a preview of what the stadium will look like, especially because Barcelona would like to host the World Cup final in 2030. So what a better way to show that we are already prepared to host big matches than hosting the Champions League, the Women's Champions League final in 2027. All right, let's do some comments, and then we will talk about the newly nicknamed Gotinha. All right, let's see. Emery says, I'm just imagining that how good was Bernal that he was benching Casado. You know, the funny thing is that Casado was supposed to be the substitute, but since Bernal got injured, he was able to step into that position with no problem, and he has been absolutely stellar. Now, Bernal was also stellar before his injury, but given the level that Casado is playing it right now, when Bernal comes back, it's going to be a very interesting duel or competition, because I'm not saying Casado is better than Bernal, but the way he's playing right now, it's just, I don't see anyone being able to take his spot away. Now, of course, Bernal could. He's still young. He's 17 years old. Of course, he'll be 18 probably by the time he comes back, but we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm just very happy that Barca was able to take that next step and substitute Bernal, because that's the beauty of our academy. That's the gift of our academy, where it consistently keeps on giving. It's the gift that never stops on giving, because when Busquets left, which, by the way, was a academy product, we were all like, yay, Busquets, he's the best. He leaves. They're like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? Boom. The academy gives us Marc Bernal. And we're like, yes, we found a solution. Great. Marc Bernal gets injured. Oh, my God, what are we going to do? Boom. Marc Casado takes his place. La Masia, ladies and gentlemen, is the only academy that can do that. It's the gift that doesn't stop on giving. Messi left. We're like, what are we going to do? Bam. La Masia gives us Lamine Yamal. Piqué leaves. They're like, what are we going to do? Boom. La Masia gives us QRC. It's just non-stop. It is undoubtedly the best academy in the world, and we're very, very, very lucky to have it. All right, more comments. Stuff Banana says, Barca got to go for that River Plate talent. I will talk about him in a little bit, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. And Peter says, Peter Fate watching from Rundu. Hello, Peter. Where is Rundu? Excuse my ignorance, but I don't know where Rundu is. If you can clarify in the chat section, that'd be amazing. But thank you for watching, and thank you for your comment. And Mickey says, hello, Mo. Who do you think that did very well between Raphinha and Vinny? Both scored a hat-trick. Right now, I think Raphinha is miles ahead of Vinicius. Not because he's more talented. I think Vinicius is more talented than Raphinha. I think Vinicius has what it takes to easily become top 3 players in the world. But the problem is with Vinicius is he's a clown. He's too busy doing his clown acts. He's too busy disrespecting opposing players, disrespecting coaches, disrespecting the fans, doing his show, just being a clown. And he's so busy being a clown that he's letting part of his talent go to waste. Not to say that he's not performing, because Vinicius always come through. But I think right now, Raphinha is winning that battle. And that goes to show that talent alone is not enough. Hard work, ethics, that also plays into it, right? Joao Felix, perfect example, incredibly talented player, but all that talent is going to waste because he's just not a hard worker. And Vinicius, I'm not saying he's not a hard worker, but he's just too busy being a clown that unfortunately he's just not living up to his full potential. So if I had to pick today between Vinicius and Raphinha, pick Raphinha any day. Last season, I would have picked Vinicius, but this season, Raphinha, absolutely. Isa says, hi, Mo. Congratulations to all of us die-hearted Barcelona fans. What a great win, and all my families are FCB fans. Please help me and the family in this program to wish my lovely wife, Madiana Sheriff, for the win. Congratulations to you, my friend. Congratulations to your wife. Congratulations to your family. And congratulations to all of us Barcelona fans, because today's win was huge. It was huge for many, many reasons. First of all, we were finally able to beat Bayern, who have been an absolute nightmare in the Champions League for us. And second, is because Barcelona made a huge statement today, letting the world know that we are back on the European stage and that we are no longer the laughingstock of Europe. This is FC Barcelona, and we are here to play. All right, let's do the next bit of news, but let's talk about Gotinha, because he will no longer be known as the Raphinha after today's performance. A hat trick against no other than Bayern Munich. This is not a hat trick against Alaves or Getafe, or with all due respect to those teams. Actually, fuck it. I'm too happy. Fuck those teams. I don't want to respect them. But this is no hat-trick against some small, irrelevant team. This is a hat-trick against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. So Raphinha is no longer known as Raphinha. He is now known as Gotinha. And while Gotinha, of course, was given the MVP award, very much deserved during the match against Bayern Munich. And after the match, he did have some statements for Movistar Plus, where the Brazilian said the following, and I will remove my logo, but Gotinha said, "A very happy night. I'm very pleased with what we did. I think we played a very good game as a team. This is the most important thing. We achieved our second victory in the Champions League. We have to think about Saturday's game and prepare well. This match could have been a Champions League final. To be able to win in this way in front of our fans is quite special. I think what we are doing on the field answers any questions. El Clásico looks like it will be a very good match. It is one of the best in the world. I think that what Madrid did yesterday and what happened today shows that it will be a great match." Now, I hate to disagree with Gotinha, but I have to disagree with Gotinha because he says we have to prepare well for a Clásico. And honestly, I think we are prepared. I think we are ready after the win today, after all the convincing wins that Barcelona has had this season. I think we are ready. I think we are ready. I think we are prepared. And Barcelona today showed that not only can we compete in La Liga, we can compete on the European stage, and we can compete against big teams as well. So I think we are ready. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that, I say, Barcelona, throw in the towel. You don't have to work hard anymore and have to train. All I'm saying is that I think we are ready. Barcelona has shown time and time again that it has what it takes to compete against big teams, to compete against anyone, and to win against anyone. Now, we can still lose. Don't get me wrong. Losing is part of the sport. And when you play against big clubs like Madrid, that's still a possibility. But nonetheless, I think we are ready to compete, and hopefully that will turn into a victory. So those are the statements by Gotinha, who with his hat-trick today helped Barcelona return to the height of European glory, or maybe not glory, not yet. Just, Champions League just started, but nonetheless, very important night, because today Barcelona made a statement that we are back, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you think about Gotinha's statements? Let me know down below, and also let me know what your thoughts are in regards to his performance. And with that, let's get back to the chat section, and then we will talk about Oscar Gistau, because like I said, the academy is the gift that keeps on giving, and well, Oscar Gistau is another gift that's oncoming. Isa says, any news on Christensen's injury? Isa from Freetown, Sierra Leone. I talked about it in yesterday's video, so I'll try to be short because I don't want to be repetitive. He's starting to do individual training. He's progressing well, but it's still a while from his official return. Carlos says, hi Mo, I wonder if you think Olmo or Gabi will start in the midfield on Saturday. I don't think Gabi is ready to start yet, given that he was only given, 5 minutes today, 7 minutes against Sevilla. I'm thinking Flick, the medical staff, they're trying to build him up back slowly. I don't think they're ready yet to just throw in Gabi there and be like, all right, you're starting, or all right, you're playing 90 minutes. It looks like it's still going to be a slow progression back, which makes sense, right? He had a very, very serious injury. He tore his ACL, completely torn. He damaged his meniscus. He had to undergo surgery to repair both, and that's a very, very serious injury. Remember, torn ACL used to end careers. If you tore your ACL as a player like 10, 15 years ago, your career was over. That's it. But thanks to advances in medicine, now you can tear your ACL and you can repair it and still play it. But nonetheless, it doesn't take away the seriousness from that, away from that injury. It's still a pretty, pretty serious injury. So I don't think Barcelona are ready yet to start him. So I don't see Gabi starting against Madrid. Maybe we'll see him play some minutes towards the end, but I don't think he's there yet. As far as Olmo, of course, is a different case. His injury was not as serious as Gabi's, so there could be a chance that he starts. But since Fermin started today, I have a feeling that maybe we'll see Fermin again, and then Olmo coming in the second half. But Gabi, I don't think we're there yet. Mickey says, my heart nearly stopped beating when Casado got hit. Oh my God. I'm glad you said that because I was going to mention that during the live stream, the post-match live analysis, and I completely forgot. But yes, I 100% agree. When I saw Casado go down and the way he was holding his legs straight, I was like, shit. And I literally texted my friends. I was like, no, not Casado. Please tell me Casado is not injured. Then they showed the replay, and then, you can see he got stepped on. And I was like, oh, thank God, because the way he was holding his leg, it looked like he had hurt his knee or his ankle. And I was like, fuck, please don't tell me that. But thankfully, it was just pain because he got stepped on. Getting stepped on, by the way, is incredibly painful for anyone who's played football. They know that. I know I have friends who don't watch football, never played football, and then when they see the replays of players getting stepped on, like, oh my God, like they're so weak, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you obviously have never played because the top of the cleat is incredibly thin, so you can feel the contact with the ball. And when you get stepped on by cleats, it's like getting stepped on by cleats when you're barefoot. And the top of your foot is incredibly sensitive because there's so many small bones, and it's incredibly painful. So thankfully, he was fine. But yes, I agree. I was very, very scared. Peter says, Bayern were not that bad, but there's levels to this flick ball. No, Bayern were good. I mean, the first 20 minutes, I thought they were just going to demolish us. But thankfully, they weren't as clinical with their shots like we were, because when we also had chances during the first half, not as many, but we were very clinical and we were able to finalize all of them. So no, Bayern were not bad, but it was a close one. The first half was very, very close. Very, very close. Actually, not even close. I think Bayern were much more superior to us. But thankfully, we held strong. We maintained our cool. And then the team was able to, regain control and just keep on going and then finish the match. All right, let's get back to the news because we do have to talk about La Masia, the gift that never stops on giving, because now the next big thing out of our academy is Oscar Gistau. Now, I've talked about Oscar Gistau in previous videos. If you don't know by now, he is a 16-year-old center forward. He's been in the academy now for 5 years. He recently renewed his contract until 2027 because, of course, when you're a minor, you can only renew 3 years at a time. So Oscar Gistau was just renewed most recently. I think it was this past summer, if I'm not mistaken. I made a video about it. But he has renewed till 2027, and he is considered as kind of one of the next best things to come out of La Masia. Now, why do I bring up Oscar Gistau? Because today, the first team was not the only team to face Bayern Munich. The Juvenil A, which is the Barcelona under-19 youth team, they too played against Bayern Munich. They played against Bayern Munich's under-19 team, and they won 3-1, which is funny because that was my prediction for the first team. I said, hopefully Barcelona beat Bayern 3-1. They ended up being 4-1. But the under-19 team, the Juvenil A, they won 3-1 against Bayern. And in that 3-1, 2 goals came from Oscar Gistau. Now, Oscar Gistau is a player that Flick has been tracking since he arrived in Barcelona. As you remember, when Flick first arrived to Barcelona, he immediately went and started watching the practices of the lower teams of the Barca Athletic, Juvenil A, Juvenil B, Cadete, Cadete A, Cadete B, etc. Because he wanted to monitor what kind of young talent there was and who was up and coming and who can make it to the first team. And in fact, Flick has part of his staff who continuously go and watch his matches of the academy teams to, again, keep track on the youngsters and see who has potential to make it to the first team. And Oscar Gistau has been one of the players that Flick has been monitoring for quite some time. And while today, Oscar Gistau scored 2 goals against Bayern Munich in the Youth Champions League, which means that Gistau is knocking on Flick's door because Flick, again, has been tracking him for quite some time. And, well, don't be surprised if we start seeing Oscar Gistau training with the first team. Is he ready to play with the first team? I don't think he's there yet, but nonetheless, he is showing that he has what it takes to be, a potential star. And we could see him start being called up to the first team trainings. That way, Flick can keep a closer eye to him. So remember this name, Oscar Gistau, because we're definitely going to be talking about him in the future. All right, let's get back to the comment section, and then we will talk about another young promising player. This one is an Argentinian out of River Plate. Mohammed says, hi Mo, I lost my voice today. I enjoyed Lamine Yamal and Davis. He do not even look like Davis I used to know. What Lamine Yamal, and I said this in the post-match live analysis, by the way. If you haven't seen the post-match live analysis, go watch it. I went over everything about the match. But what Lamine Yamal did to Alphonso Davis today was absolutely criminal. He made Davis look, Lamine made Davis look like an absolute child. And remember, the child here is Lamine Yamal. He's 17 years old. He's literally a child playing against the best left back in the world, a left back who's in his prime. And this is the best Davis you're going to see, right? He's in his prime. And Lamine Yamal, a child, absolutely destroyed Alphonso Davis. He did whatever the hell he wanted with him. He looked like he was just playing FIFA on PS5. Like what Lamine Yamal did today was absolutely criminal. And someone should arrest Lamine Yamal because that was assault and battery on Davis. Carlos Vega says, I don't know whether to buy the home or black away kit. I'm going to solve your question or your conundrum. Buy both. Because I love the away kit. I think the black jersey looks absolutely amazing. I love how the behind the logo or the crest is red and blue. I bought a sweater that has the same crest, and I love it. So I want it. But the home kit, even though I'm not a huge fan, it is the anniversary kit. It's the 125th anniversary kit, and you got to have the 125th anniversary kit. So I'm going to end up buying both. I'm saving up for it because, you know, the two of them together is going to be a lot of money. So I want to buy both. So yeah, just do that. Just buy both. Trust me on this one, because I've been buying away kits for a while now. I think the last home kit that I bought was the 2018 kit. That's the last home kit I bought, and I buy a kit every season. And since then, every kit I've bought has been an away kit because the home kits have been trash, and the away kits have been much better. This season, the away kit is also better. Not that the home kit is trash; it's just the away kit is better. But again, it's the 125th anniversary. You have to have it. So I'm going to buy both. I think one is going to be for Gabi because I don't have Gabi's jersey. The other one's going to be Casado because, again, for me, this season, Casado has been the best revelation, breakthrough, whatever you want to call it. All right, Barca Mama says, hey, Mo from Kansas. So glad I got to hide in my office and watch the game today. Barca is so fun to watch again. I agree with you 100%. I think finally, I look forward to Barcelona matches. Like, I literally count the days. I'm like, 2 days, Barcelona plays. 1 day, 2 hours, 30 minutes. Like, I literally count down to Barcelona matches. And I haven't done that in a while. Like, last season, when Barcelona would play, I'd be like, crap, Barcelona plays tomorrow. I really hope we don't embarrass ourselves. Like, it was dread. It was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Now I'm just like, wow, I can't wait for Barcelona to play. And in fact, I had meetings today in the evening, and I moved all my meetings. Some I moved earlier, some I moved to tomorrow because I was like, I cannot miss this. This is Barcelona versus Bayern. It's the biggest test yet this season, the first big test of the season, and I'm really glad I did that because it was an absolute amazing win. Not the best performance, but an amazing win. The goals, by the way, were all amazing. All 5. Even Bayern's goal was great. Gaming says, so happy with my Barcelona. Only left 4 goals more to delete past games. Amen, my friend. Amen. Isa says, Mo, can we sell Frankie because Cassie 17 is unstoppable now for us to get more left winger? I mean, we could, but it's up to the player, right? You can't just sell a player against his will. A player has to agree to be sold. So if Frankie says that I don't want to leave, there's not much we could do. But you know my position on it. I think Frankie should be offloaded if he keeps insisting on not renewing. We paid a lot of money to sign him. We paid him a lot of money in his salary, and he's been inconsistent at best. He's had great moments, don't get me wrong, but he has been very inconsistent. And to pay all that money for an inconsistent player that is ignoring our calls, it just doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, all right, let's get back to the news and let's talk about the teenage sensation that Barcelona are currently tracking out of River Plate, and this player is no other than Felipe Esquivel. He is a 16-year-old attacker. He was formed in the River Plate Academy, and he is known for his exceptional dribbling skills where thanks to those skills, he can create advantageous situations one-on-one in both in and outside the box. So pretty much another Lemmy, someone who can dribble, pass players, and thanks to that, he can create advantageous situations, assists, danger, whatever you want to call it. But Felipe Esquivel, really good dribbler, but that's not all, because he's also known for his creativity and for his agility. Now, Esquivel can play both as playmaker, so a number 10, and he can play as a winger as well. Kind of like Messi, right? Not to compare him with Messi. Hold on. Chill, everyone. But kind of like Messi, right? Messi can play as a playmaker, as a number 10, but can also play on a wing. Now, Esquivel can play both as a right and a left winger, even though he was used more recently as a right winger, but he can play on both wings, and he can play as a playmaker. And again, a player that's known for his agility, his speed, his creativity, and of course, his exceptional dribbling skills, where he can get past defenders and create really good chances inside and outside the box. Now, Felipe Esquivel is currently has not started with the first team yet, but he is making his way through the River Plate youth teams. He's shining with the youth teams, and as such, it's reported that Barcelona are currently tracking this Argentinian talent to see how he continues to develop, and perhaps, of course, maybe in the future sign him. As you know, when you sign a player outside of Europe, they have to be 18 or older to bring him. So he still has 2 more years until he can make a move to Europe. But nonetheless, Barcelona are closely monitoring this player and his progression, because so far he has been impressing in the River Plate youth system. Now, of course, this is all part of Barcelona's efforts to recognize and identify young emerging talent all around the world and sign them at a young age where their price is still pretty affordable, bring them to Barcelona and grow them into stars. A much, much better practice than what Bartomeu used to do, which is identify stars, which you don't really identify because they're already stars. Everybody knows about them, and then spend half of the club's fortune on them so they can come to the club and then fail. So I much rather this kind of approach to bring young, talented players, because guess what? If it doesn't work out, that's okay. If you spend 10 million euros on a young, up-and-coming player, if he works out, you hit the jackpot. You just got a big star for 10 million. That's a bargain, right? If he doesn't work out, who cares? You only spend 10 million, as opposed to spending 150 on a player and then he doesn't end up working out. And guess what? Now you're screwed. Now you're out 150 million euros. And that's exactly how Barcelona ended up in the financial hole that they're currently in. So I much rather this approach. And well, part of this approach is Felipe Esquivel, which Barcelona are currently tracking. Now, let's get back to the chat section and see what you guys are saying. Mike says, hi, Mo. What do you think with all the attacking talent at Barca now? If Barca had the chance to sell Ferran and Ansu and get Nico in their place, will you go for it? That's a good question. Ferran, obviously, no doubt. I wouldn't even sell him. I would give him for free. I'd be like, you know how when you have furniture, like a couch that you don't want anymore, and you put it outside on the sidewalk and you put a sign on it, free, take it? That's what I would do with Ferran. I would put a cardboard box around him to say free player, and I would put him outside the Camp Nou, and hopefully a club comes and picks him up and takes him. That's what I would do with Ferran. Hopefully he proves me wrong and ends up being amazing. Anyways, as far as Ansu, that's tough because I still have the hopes that Ansu will, find his form back. But if he doesn't by the end of the season, yes, I would be all for selling Ansu and Ferran and bringing Nico. So let's put it that way. Prosperity says, Prosperity from Ghana, the rebirth of Barca is here. I hope Casado is not injured. I don't think he was injured. I think he just got stepped on. And like I said before, when you get stepped on with cleats, it really, really hurts because the top of the cleat is very, very thin leather, so you can feel the ball better. So there's no protection on top of your foot. So when you get stepped on, it's like you getting stepped on barefoot. It really, really hurts. Let's see. Magister says Casado pocketed Musiala. Musiala think he's him. By the way, I'm glad you brought this up because I almost forgot. Because at the beginning of the video, I was talking about Courtois injured, Rodrigo's injured. They're both going to miss El Clásico. And not just them, but Alaba and Carvajal as well. And before, yesterday, I was talking about how Musiala was not fit enough to start. And I was like, that's good news. But today, as we saw with this Barca, with Flick, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The same way referees don't matter anymore. Remember, last season, Xavi would cry about referees every match. Now, it doesn't matter. If referees do a great job, do a horrible job, make mistakes, don't make mistakes, it doesn't matter. Because Barcelona are winning convincingly. They are demolishing their opposition. So even when the refs make mistake, it becomes relevant. Because if you're winning 5-0, and the referee didn't call a penalty in your favor, who cares? You won 5-0. Sure, it would have been nicer to win 6-0. You still won 5-0. It doesn't matter, right? Referees become irrelevant. And I think the players that we play against are also becoming that way. Like, I celebrated that Musiala might not be fit to start, but it didn't even matter because even when he came on, it didn't matter because Barcelona are doing their job. And I think even though I mentioned Courtois and Rodrigo being injured for a Clásico, it doesn't matter either because the way Barcelona are playing, it just doesn't matter what players are healthy or not healthy as far as the opposition. All right, Noel says Muller has been clapped. Now on to Madrid. Lamine is going to drive Lucas Vázquez crazy on the wing. I predict a 1-3 win for us. I hope so, my friend. Honestly, I would love a manita, like a 5-0 or 0-5, I should say. But I'll take a win. And 1-3 sounds good to me. All right, let's see. Yesterday says we have to sacrifice Pablo Torre, too much players, or another to get King Verts. I don't think we need Verts. Plus, we don't have money to spend 120 million on Verts. But as far as Pablo Torre, I think we're going to have to sacrifice him, period, because right now I just don't see space for him. Not that he's bad or anything, but I just don't see a place for him, right? I think Pedri and Casado are definitive starters. There's no doubt about it. The way the two have been playing, they have to start. So that only leaves one spot left for Frankie, for Olmo, for Fermin, for Gavi, and for Pablo. And out of those players, Pablo Torre is in last place. So I think we're going to have to sacrifice him. Again, not because he's not good enough. It's just there's better players ahead of him. And I would hate to see a 20-year-old who's talented just wasting his talents on the bench because at that age, you have to play. You're in a growth phase. You're in a development phase. And if you don't play, you get stuck. You have to play to keep growing and developing. And in Barcelona, he's just not going to find that many minutes because there are better players ahead of him. Again, doesn't mean that he's bad. There's just better players ahead of him. Mickey says, in 2 to 3 years to come, clubs will be very scared to play against Barcelona. But Mo, I'm a bit worried about Lamine not adding goals to his game. Dude, who cares about the goals? The way Lamine is playing, the assists he's providing, the chances he's creating through his dribbling, I don't care about his goals. Let's see. SA says, who remembers the times we couldn't smile and suffered? Was moments back. We waited for this now. Amen, my friend. After the storm comes, how does the saying go? Something about once the storm is over, it's better. But yeah, that's pretty much where we at. We suffered many years. We waited very long for these moments, and while they're finally here, and what makes these moments even better is because we had to suffer through everything that we suffered. So it makes these moments that much more special because had Barcelona kept their winning ways and blah, blah, beating Bayern Munich 4-1 would have been like, cool, we beat Bayern, woohoo. But the fact that we've had to suffer, it makes these wins that much more special. Raul says, Yamal, Pedri, Casado, and Raphinha are the best magical players in the world. Define magic, right? What do you mean by magic? Let's see. What else? Magister says, if not because of Casado, Musiala may score today. True. And Noel says, the best kind of satisfaction is seeing Muller's face after having his cheeks clapped. I hope to see a similar sight with Vini on Saturday. I hope so too. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That image has gone viral. Muller just sitting on the bench, and then he's just like, and then you can see the scoreline, 4-1. And I said this in the post-match live analysis, but all I can imagine going on in Muller's head is that scene from Inglourious Bastards where Hitler is like 99999, and that's all I imagine just going on in Muller's head, just like 999. Like, I can't believe I came here and got humiliated. But here you go, Muller. All right, Sean says, I'm not a fan of Nico Williams. I think we should stick with La Masia players coming up, and Barca have a lot who can play on the right, like Uni Fernandez. I mean, we need someone on the left, not right. But anyways, that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the podcast. Again, I did do the post-match live analysis. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.